This is the directorial debut by Alma Harrell, but that's not really the interesting part. Although she did do a really good job too, because I have no complaints as far as the direction went. And overall I think the filmmaking here was really good, really effective. It's also just over 90 minutes, but it packs in a lot into that short runtime. And a lot of that probably had to do with the pacing and the editing too. But what makes this a little bit more interesting than your average movie, at least to me, is that it's written by Shia LaBeouf, and I didn't know this going into it, but apparently it's based on his own childhood and his relationship with his father. And according to something I read online, he wrote this in rehab too, where he was dealing with all of his emotional baggage. Which makes this whole thing a little bit more meta, because the story here revolves around this kid, who's a child actor and who lives with his dad, who's a veteran and has a few issues. And let's just say that he's maybe not the ideal parent and leaves a lot of room for improvement. But at the same time, the movie also deals with this kid all grown up into a young man 10 years later. And at this point he's a successful actor who ends up in rehab, where he has to deal with his past trauma. So the movie jumps back and forth between how he's dealing with his trauma and what got him there and caused all of it in the first place. And yeah, you know, watching this could be pretty hard at times because things get kinda ugly. And you really feel for the kid, which made it all very compelling and engrossing. And a lot of that was due to the intensity of LaBeouf's performance here too. Because if the story itself wasn't meta enough, he also essentially plays his father in this. And boy oh boy did he knock it out of the park, because he's great in this. I liked him a lot in the Peanut Butter Falcon recently, but in this he just takes it to another level. And as good as the kid playing the younger him was, and Lucas Hedges was really good too, LaBeouf just hands down stole the show here. He's just that good in it. Which surprised me a little bit when watching it, but having heard the story behind this now, it does make sense. He's obviously got a lot invested in this, and who would better know how to play that character than he himself? And yeah, I would say that that was probably the highlight of the movie for me personally. But I mean, as a whole the movie wouldn't have worked without all the other parts too. And as I said, the technical side of things was handled very well too. But also the story in general and the writing was really good too, and it's a pretty tight script overall. One that doesn't really leave any room for bloat or a lot of unnecessary stuff. Although I will say that I'm not 100% sure if those parts with the young woman, played by FKA Twigs, were essential or what their exact purpose was. But I did feel like they did add something to it. As a whole though, I'm just not sure exactly what. Maybe just a bit of that humanity and some of that more gentler energy. Which the parts with his father didn't exactly provide, as gentle isn't the word I'd use to describe him. But other than that, I'm not sure what else to say about this. It's a good movie. And I liked it quite a bit. It's just a gripping and compelling story about people dealing with, well, what essentially amounts to generations of trauma, substance abuse, and all of that stuff. And I don't really have any complaints about it. However, would I recommend it? Sure, I think it's probably worth checking out, or you could not do that. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.